Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Melodies and Macchiatos with myself being Ethan Alfrey and my co-host, co-barista, co-friend.
Drew Graham also being myself. Welcome everyone. This is episode 2 and we'll be talking about another amazing songwriter out of the pop scene right now, Ed Sheeran.
Super excited to talk about Ed Sheeran. Just before we start talking about Ed Sheeran, just quick little housekeeping notes that we've noticed after our first episode released. We've listened to some feedback from y'all. Don't be afraid to send us feedback if you ever feel like you have feedback to give to us. We always love it and we'll always listen to that.
Please.
Yeah, seriously, please give it to us. We need it. So we heard y'all. Episode was a little long, so we're gonna shorten that down. We've worked on that. We've looked at what we can condense and what we can really limit. And so
Right.
we're working on that.
We kind of need to control our thought patterns because we can really go
ramble.
off the rails if we
Go
want
into
to.
rabbit holes and just
They're
just
huge.
dive.
Right.
But we've listened to what you all have said and mentioned, and after thinking and looking at what we can really condense, we're really excited to bring y'all a newer, shorter episode of Melodies and Macchiatos just for y'all's enjoyment. So sit back, relax, and grab some coffee because we'll be talking today.
Let's do it.
All right, so Drew, Ed Sheeran. First of all, some thoughts on him.
Well, obviously the main word for Ed Sheeran is songwriter. You know?
Yes, of course.
He kind of, to me, he represents what it looks like to make it as a songwriter. To take tunes that really matter to you and tunes that you know can sell and just work local songwriting circuits until you are freaking noticed. And what was that? What did you say about like how many shows he did one year?
Right. So that was actually one of the things I wanted to mention is he did 312 shows in 2009 alone. Like that blows my mind. Like I know you know this because like as a musician yourself, you've had those opportunities to go and play shows. I don't think you've played. I don't know if you've played 312 shows in 1 year, but like
Can confirm I have not.
but like that's a lot of shows, dude. That's like I can't do math easily. I think that's like 53 days off only out of the entire year.
Yeah, so you get 1 day off a week.
Like
The
and like
entire
maybe
year.
he took like 2 days off in 1 week, I think. Like
doing shows. And
like not getting paid for it. Like not well.
yeah.
I was about to say
Not
like,
enough.
not enough for anyone to actually want to
I mean, like, think
to
about
do
doing
that.
your 9 to 5, 6 days a week.
and then going and doing a show like every single night.
Yeah, or like just the concept of not even getting paid or supported enough for it to even seem worth it. That's what you have to believe in to do that for a whole year, and that's what
Yep.
epitomizes Ed Sheeran.
I know. I was gonna say you and I talked about that yesterday. We were discussing Ed Sheeran, and I loved that we both realized that Ed Sheeran has always believed in himself. Like there are artists who are like and musicians who have just gotten there and have been there in the spotlight from day one.
Yeah.
And really just grown into that. But like Ed Sheeran is an artist who has constantly, when no one else believed in him, believed in himself and kept pushing and just trying his best. And like you mentioned yesterday, just playing with a guitar and a pedal loop, like just with those two pieces of equipment and selling out stadiums, going from bars to pubs to selling out stadiums just on that talent alone.
Yeah, and really, what this kind of connects to is, every artist has two phases of their career. It's their prep point and the kind of your slingshot point or your point of opportunity is what I would call it. Your prep point and your opportunity point. And so you have time to work your tail off and be ready for whenever the time does come that you can
For sure.
get up there. And then I think everyone in their life will be presented with an opportunity. Some way that they will be recognized for what they do, and so you have to work equally hard in both positions. You have to work your tail off so that you can be ready when the opportunity comes, and when that time does come, you have to take it.
Oh, you can't hold back. you have to just dive in and go for it. And I think that's what Ed Sheeran did, is because even when in 2009 he'd already released his first album being Ed Sheeran, and then he had released his second album Want Some in 2007. So in 2009 he was already well into his not big music career, but into his music career, wanting to really be invested in that area. And so he wholeheartedly dived in and believed in himself.
Yeah. And that makes it's a huge payoff when you step into especially the pop stage, the pop music stage.
For sure.
Because everyone sees you, and it exposes you for who you are. And when they see someone who has genuinely been through some of the worst of it just so he can sing what matters to him, people will respect that. And that's why there's, people will go to Glastonbury and just watch him with one guitar and one pedal just like run a whole crowd.
Yeah, no.
That's a big deal.
For sure. But yeah, no, like talking about that and his popularity and his growing popularity, when he released A-Team, that single was his first single that he ever released.
Right.
And that sold over 58,000 copies in the first week.
Oh.
And like that's mind-blowing to me because like then you also look at the production cost of his music video.
Yeah.
And that was
How much
only
was that?
20 pounds.
Goodness.
He paid 20 pounds to make his music video for the A-Team. And like can't even begin to imagine what that like. I can't say I've seen it. Like I need to go see it, but like
it's got an insane amount of views, and
I mean, how many does it have? Has.
We're about to find out.
Yeah.
But,
no, I was about to say.
No, the A-Team is kind of indicative of, the rest of his career. You can kind of compare it to what happened. So 20 pounds, it's got 301 million views. 20
Casually,
pounds.
for 20 pounds.
That's a great return on investment, I'll tell you what.
That is a great return on investment. But, yeah, no, what were you saying before?
Well, no, and that just kind of, that's the same, it goes for the same, for his career. He has this kind of low, you can kind of feel like it's a low budget kind of startup, because he just tried to operate for years off of a low budget, because he didn't have any other
right.
kind
No,
of budget.
you have to work on the budget you have, and that was the budget he had. And then now he's at this point where he's closing at the London Olympics in 2012. Like, not even that was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And this man was closing in the London Olympics.
Yeah.
That
It's huge. And
no,
the way that his
course.
music has progressed is really interesting, because he's consistently kept songwriting. He's stayed true to his songwriting. He's understood what sells and what people want to listen to, but also stayed true to himself.
Right, no, for sure. But yeah, going off of that, one of his first albums, not even an album, is an EP from 2009, was You Need Me.
Yeah.
Released that. It had a classic song, You Need Me, I Don't Need You, So, Be Like You, The City, and then Sunburn.
Good songs.
Yes, no, of course, great songs. I really wanted to highlight The City because that just really shows off his like classic guitar, yet like almost is a weird sort of singing that he does. Like his singing is not singing to me. It's very much more of like pop rap in a way.
Yep.
Where it's just very very sped through, very much getting through all the words and just very lyrical.
Yeah.
And poetic almost.
You can definitely feel how his influence is that of a lot of. It is a very diverse amount of influence, because that's a very relatable thing to a lot of people, because I don't know anybody who listens to one kind of music.
Right. No.
One
of
genre.
course.
And so he listens to anything that you want to throw at him. And so there are videos of him doing You Need Me and I Don't Need You live, and he'll throw in the middle part of that, what is that song? He throws in the Club by 50 Cent, and he'll throw in different reggae songs in the middle of his tunes.
That's so funny.
Well, yeah, and there's that, and then he has all these other major songwriter influences, and he just takes from everything that he can.
Yeah, no,
I feel like that's something that everyone can relate to, in terms of they'll go from blasting Jay-Z down the road to, you know, kind of sitting down and enjoying some more quiet and low-key stuff. And that kind of helps connect with a lot of a millennial generation.
Yeah, I agree with that. So let's just like listen to The City really quickly, and then
Yeah.
we'll discuss that afterwards.
And this city never sleeps. I hear the people walk by when it's late, and sirens bleed through my windowsill. I can't close my eyes, don't control what I'm into. And this tower is a lie. The lights that blind keep me awake, with my hood up and nice and tight. And sleep fills my mind, don't control what I'm into. London cools me a stranger, a traveler. Oh, this is now my home, my home. Oh, I'm burning on the back street. Oh, stuck here sitting in the back seat. Oh, and I'm blazing on the street. And what I do is not up to you, 'cause if the city never sleeps, then that makes two, yeah. And the pavement is my friend, hey, and it'll take me where I need to go. 'Cause I find it trips me up and puts me down. This is not what I'm used to. And the shop across the road fills my needs and gives me company when I need it. Voices bleed through my walls, and I don't think I'm gonna make it past tomorrow. London calls me a stranger, a traveler. Oh, this is now my home, my home. Oh, I'm burning on the back street. Oh, stuck here sitting in the back seat. Oh, and I'm blazing on the street. What I do is not up to you, 'cause if the city never sleeps, then that makes two. And my lungs hurt and my ears bled, with the sound of the city life echoed in my head. Do I need this to keep me alive? The traffic stops and starts, but I need to move along. I'm from a city where the rain won't cease, pollution in the air matches that on the street, 'cause the black smoke gets your head into a muddle like walking into elephant syringes in a puddle like. Was a country boy when I moved out, grew up too fast from my family to find out. Now I'm taught to stop my music running into nosedives, can't with sorts of arrogance with white lines now. And this city won't erase me, but I can up to see this how this dark city changed me. It's all the same, see, music is my life, but I try to find whatever I need to hide from. North, south, east, west, London's my home now. These week, we never slow down. Now I start to do my music properly and stay away from all the negative shit that will follow me. London calls me a stranger. Whoa, this is not my home now. My home. Oh, I'm burning on the back street. Oh, stuck here sitting in the back seat. Oh, and I'm blazing on the street. What I do is not up to you, 'cause if the city never sleeps, then that makes you. Oh, I'm burning on the back street. Oh, stuck here sitting in the back seat. Oh, and I'm blazing on the street. What I do is not up to you, 'cause if the city never sleeps, then that makes two.
And that kind of brings into a discussion of songwriters who don't have the technical ability but are creative enough and smart enough to
Mhm.
to make something good anyways. And Ed Sheeran is a great example
Oh
of that.
yeah, no, I mean his
Rex Orange County is a great example of that.
Yes,
His
no.
vocals are not the strongest, but he knows what key and he knows how to play things so that his voice works.
His vocals are wild. Rex
Yeah.
Orange County's are, but I mean I think Ed Sheeran in each album, plus Multiply, is it Multiply or I don't know.
Multiply is his next one.
Yeah, Multiply and then
Times.
Divide, or
Mhm.
Times and then Divide, are all such great albums. I only know it by the X really,
Yeah.
but they're such great albums that show that he
Mhm.
knows how to cater to his voice. But yeah, no, The City from You Need Me.
Yeah, what made you pick that song?
Honestly, one I'm a big like when it comes to reading and just listening to music, I'm a big judger of the cover. So not meaning like I'll listen to someone do a cover, but I'll listen to I'll just read the title of it, and if I like the name of the title, that really is a big indicator of whether or not I like the song.
Okay, so like
Because I'm a very much a lyricist. I look at the lyrics, I look at how everything is going, and that's what I base it off of. But also when I listen to The City, just like I said, it is fundamental Ed Sheeran. Just the guitar,
Right.
The beat that he adds through the guitar itself,
No, I like that.
his voice, like I said, dolphining up every single time to hit those high notes. It is such a good sound. It's such a great sound to listen to. And so like, I don't know, like that's just like I chose it because it just really shows his drive, and I mean it's also him talking about London, and like
Yeah.
it's him talking about pursuing his music career, and so he wrote that song for the gigs he was doing in London, and so like he made it very not just situational in a bad way, but he made it very situational for his listeners at that time,
Sure.
and so like I just really enjoyed it, and I love it so much because
I love that pick. Well, because that's such a great pick, I'll let you pick another. Because we're moving into our next segment of Barista's Pick,
right
where we give you a song suggestion from Ed Sheeran's catalog, and a Starbucks coffee drink that'll go with it pretty smoothly to our taste, personally.
yes
So,
to our taste buds.
Ethan,
But
your tune.
okay, so last week, being from John Mayer, we chose Walt Grace's Submarine Test, 1967.
What a tune.
That song we had paired with a it was a hot chai tea latte.
Correct.
Right, vanilla chai.
Yeah, vanilla. Yeah.
Right, and so this week we have still being two baristas not picking coffee.
Refuse to.
We have
Maybe next week.
declined the ability to choose coffee. So the song we've chosen is actually, since Drew chose last week, I'll be choosing the song this week. It is from his album Times.
Yes.
And it is Sing, which again just goes off so much off of what he loves to do and what he loves to just mix with his guitar. You and I, like I said, Drew, you and I watched a live version of that song yesterday, and the way that he just involved the crowd and was like, he was so energetic about the song, and he was just like, all right guys, I'm gonna need you to like yell whenever I tell you, like you're gonna be doing the parts for me, and like they would say the word, and he'd be like, no, louder. Then they'd do it again, he'd be like, no, louder.
His rapport with a live audience is so natural. You can just tell he's put in his 10,000 hours, you know?
Oh, yeah, no, you can just see how much effort he has put into his career and how much he loves where he's at.
Yeah.
And yet, at the same time, how much of just I think my favorite part about looking at some celebrities is seeing that they don't feel like they're celebrities.
No, for sure, yeah.
And Ed Sheeran is one of those where he walks around and he looks just like a 30-something, like a 20 to 30-something old man, just walking around going like, hi guys, I'm Ed.
He definitely doesn't have that LA,
He doesn't have that John Mayer feel.
aristocratic look. Yeah, for sure.
Where John Mayer walks around and he's like, hey guys, I'm John Mayer, I'm really famous. And you guys are like, yeah, okay, all right, John, all right, Johnny boy, we'll be fine. And Sheeran's like, hey guys, I went into Guitar Center and bought a guitar.
No, it's amazing.
So with Sing, what is your drink?
Well, my first thought, and I didn't want to think anything else because, dang it, I kind of wanted it at the time, and it just seems like a good call. with this song, we would highly recommend trying it with a Starbucks Ultra Caramel Frappuccino with an extra or with a blonde shot of espresso in it.
Right. And when we discuss this, guys, we're thinking maybe don't do any frap roast with that blonde shot because that can kind of affect the taste. You want it to be that bitter, smooth espresso shot going with that really caramely sweet caramel.
That ultra caramel is unbelievably sweet.
Oof,
and
that stuff gets me.
Well, and the tune is a really, really fun, high energy, falsetto driven vocal line with some really fun bass lines that kind of keep your thoughts and your feelings way up, because bass lines, instrumentation, everything is this really great fast pace, and then everything stays in a minor but also this subtle major kind of key, because they alternate between in musical terms a minor 6 chord and a minor 2 chord the entire time. But it's got this really fun element to it. So we thought that bitter espresso and the high energy of the espresso would go really well with that sweetness of the caramel frappuccino.
Oh, of course.
Ultra caramel frappuccino.
Yes, ultra. So that's going to be, remember, that's Sing from Times by Ed Sheeran, obviously. We're talking about Ed Sheeran. And that's going to be, I'm thinking a grande is a good size. It's good taste tester.
Right.
A grande ultra caramel frappuccino. Get that with a blonde shot of espresso, and just keep the frap roast out of there. Just say no frap roast.
Do this at the drive-thru so that you can get on your nearest country road and blast this song
and sing.
And sing. If you have a moonroof, please open it. Roll down your windows. Take a sip of this, and then go.
It's springtime.
Except way louder.
But you're gonna need to say it louder. But yeah, no, it's springtime, so we're just ready to just have some frappuccinos,
Seriously.
chill out, windows down, listening to some music.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I mean, that's our barista's pick. Drew's got a lot of stuff, and I mean, I love when Drew talks about a lot of the technical and musical aspects of musicians. But Drew, do you want to hit us with what you got for his later half of his life?
Yeah.
Not his life. I mean, he's still alive.
His career.
His career. I was going to say, this man's still
Ed Sheeran. We're the bearer of bad news. Ed Sheeran's gone.
Yeah, I apologize. Did not realize that's going to be the mood of the podcast. Ed Sheeran's gone.
Major yikes. So, Ed Sheeran has always, and even now in his music, from what I've listened to on Divide, I listened all the way through Divide and kind of compared it to Times, and then all the way back to his other things, and really, this is kind of representative of a songwriter, and like what we said in the beginning, this is your paramount, quintessential, I just made it just because I wanted it enough kind of songwriter.
Oh, and for sure. This is the make it until you break it songwriter.
Seriously. And all he's had, his whole music career, which is kind of obvious, is a Martin, what is it? It's a mini Martin is what they're called. It's a tiny little acoustic guitar. It's made as a practice guitar, and anyone pre 2011, when his debut record came out, anyone pre 2011 would look at a mini Martin and go, I mean, yeah, if you're like 5 and you want to play guitar, have fun with that thing. But now he's got his own custom model of it, and everyone goes, "Yep, that's an Ed Sheeran guitar right there, and you better play it if you want to sound like him."
And just is like, you know what? That's Ed Sheeran for you. That's what he's gonna bring to the table.
Well, and so you can tell that his technical musical ability goes to a certain point, and you can see that in when I watch him live, he kind of stays on. He does what he does really well. So he stays really heavy on bar chords or power chords whenever it comes to his guitar playing. So very simple, but it gets the pop melodies out. He works really hard on those loops because he knows really well dynamics.
Yes.
He knows how to kind of like build and drop.
Oh my word! I love a good musician who can just the ability to one man band a song and you be able to play that in front of thousands of people in a stadium. That is the mark of a good musician because they can do it themselves.
It takes a unique kind of energy.
Oh, for sure.
So that kind of ability is kind of a trademark of his, and you can feel it in his studio albums. what it feels like to me is Ed Sheeran got signed. He went into the studio, and these producers said, "Okay, you want to sound like a pop tune?" He said, "No, I know what it sounds like." And he played, his acoustic, and he played his vocals, and then they said, "Okay, let's just add a little bit in there so that, people don't just hear an acoustic track."
And
And
they're like, they know the agents and the record labels. They know that you can't just play an acoustic track anymore.
right.
Even as you can see with John Mayer, where I argued last week that John Mayer's albums were his Paradise Valley and then Born and Raised were his best albums. They were basically primarily acoustic
Truly.
rock, and it just didn't. The population and
They did not respond.
No, they did not like it. They didn't like it. So like, record labels know that, and so whenever Ed Sheeran came in with just a little tiny guitar and his vocals, they're like, okay, hold on, that's not gonna work. Like we gotta add a little something more to it. And he's like, but do we have to? And like that's the real kickers.
No, for sure.
Do you have to really though? At the same time, that's the real question.
Well, and it depends. If you don't have a lot of good ideas to go off of songwriting wise, then you might need a lot of production. But luckily, you had someone who had earned his place in that studio.
Oh.
And so there are plenty of people like that, and Sheeran's kind of our best example. That's why we wanted to talk about him earlier than later, in our kind of series of who we're going to talk about artist-wise. And so that's kind of leaving behind his technical ability. We're going to leave that there. He knows how to work crowds, and he knows how to put out the pop tunes on a musical level.
Oh, great live performer. Where stage presence. Oh my word, his stage presence is so good.
Yeah, it's really strong.
And I think once again, and I know you're moving to a different area, but like this, I just need to hit home the fact that his stage presence is one of the main reasons why he went from pubs and little bars
No, you're right.
and little concert venues to stadiums, to the London Olympics 6 years from when he began his real music journey.
Isn't that interesting how that can be such a determining factor to your success as a musician, as your live presence?
Oh, it's remarkable. I mean, you and I were discussing John Bellion earlier. One of the main reasons John Bellion is doing so well, in my opinion, is that he's extremely humble about everything he's ever received in his life. I went and saw him in concert, and whenever he ended the show, and it was his last show on tour, he lost his mind because everyone was freaking out. But two is he has such a good stage presence that everybody loves going to his concerts. And that's the same with Ed Sheeran. Is Ed Sheeran has his concerts where he's like, where I mentioned about Sing is where we watched the live version where he was like, you guys got to get into this.
Yeah.
He's like, if you guys aren't into this, I'm not into this.
Wow.
Get into this. And everyone did. And because of that, this song is incredible. It's why I picked it as an Breeze's pick. It's one of my favorite Ed Sheeran songs of all time is because it's so energetic and so just makes you think about spring for me. And like, it's so amazing.
So a big aspect of that isn't the musical ability or the technical production of it, because I watched him play it live. That was what looked like a G sharp minor to a D flat minor the entire song. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
There's nothing wrong with simplistic.
Well, and because he hooked it in. And it's because he knows how to write freaking songs. And so his kind of trademark is something that kind of really matters when it comes to songwriting. People think it's this, emotional connection moment where you go, oh my gosh, I feel something, and then you write. But that's really not what it is. Sometimes it happens like that. But for songwriters, it's the same as your musical ability. It's the same as your, you can compare it to working out. If you're not writing songs every day, good or not, then when that good, it's kind of what we talked about with prep, career-wise.
Right.
If you're not preparing and just writing song after song after song, when that opportunity hits and you have an emotional inspiration for a tune, you won't be able to write it.
Yeah,
you
no,
won't have the
because
tools.
You'll just be sitting there like, oh, I have this, I'm feeling all these emotions and I know exactly what I want to write about. But I don't know what it is. Like, you're like, what are the words for it?
Right.
What do I do? And it's like on the tip of your tongue, and you're just like, I don't know, and it's just not going to come out.
So really, that moment when you're in studio or when you're writing on a spot, that's kind of like, that's kind of like you're stepping onto the field, and you haven't hit the weight room if you haven't been running every day.
For sure.
And so if you can't hit that, you're gonna blow out. And that's something that we've never seen in Sheeran's career, and that's something that I
don't want to see.
Yeah, and I don't think we will, and especially
Let's
because
say
he's moving to more inspiration.
Right. No.
Because he just got married to like a national hockey player or something like that. That was kind of my main thoughts on Sheeran, was not necessarily because I can appreciate his musical ability in terms of he knows what will hook people's ears
for sure
on a musical level, and then he gives the people the ideas that he has.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, he's a really effective communicator. It's brilliant. And not to mention that I can cry while listening to Plus every single time.
I was about to say, I think this is just that idea that anything British is better than American.
True.
But I think of just how similar Sam Smith, Adele, another British artist that I love personally is Jack Garrett.
Yeah.
That man, I have never wanted to cry as much listening to a full album that is 22 full songs, and it be so just. It's just because of the words. It's nothing about the music. The music is amazing to me. I love his music so much, but it's all about the lyrics, and it's all about the songwriting.
Well, and so speaking of songwriting, my pick for this week's tune for Ed Sheeran is off of the deluxe edition of his first big album off of Plus. This is Gold Rush, and it's a great tune because the production is so simple. There's almost none of it, and he had very, very little, editing in there, and really, the music and everything else is kind of this space that he creates so that he can explain his ideas and his feelings and his experience. So that's kind of why I'm picking this tune, and I really hope that you can feel, the importance of songwriting, especially in this tune. So this is my pick for Ed Sheeran.
Smoke alarm went off at 9. I woke up, wiped the sleep out of my eye. She left a note, I'll be back in 5. Well, I'm still waiting for that moment to arrive. Hey, and I was told to put my job in front of you, but it won't hold me like you do. But I do it for the love, waiting on the gold rush, keep it on the edge, smoking on a roll up. When I see my friends, all they say is hold up. And remember the time when we were in school, listening to grown-ups, didn't learn a thing. But then again, you know what, you know how to sing, but you don't know anything other than that. So maybe you should learn to love her like the way, and maybe you should learn to love her like the way, and maybe you should learn to love her like the way, and maybe you should learn to love her like the way you wanna be loved. I never told her that I liked the way she dances slightly out of time and pretends she knows the words to a song she's never heard, but I tell her all the time. Hey, well, I was told to put my job in front of you, but it won't hold me like you do. But I do it for the love, waiting on the gold rush, keep it on the edge, smoking on a roll up. When I see my friends, all they say is hold up. And remember the time when we were in school, listening to grown-ups, didn't learn a thing. But then again, you know what, you know how to sing, but you don't know anything other than that. So maybe you should learn to love her like the way. And maybe you should learn to love her, like the way. And maybe you should learn to love her, like the way. And maybe you should learn to love her, like the way you wanna be loved. Hey. I do it for the love, waiting on the gold rush, keep it on the edge, smoking on a roll up. When I see my friends, all they say is hold up. And remember the time when we were in school, listening to grown-ups, didn't learn a thing. But then again, you know what, you know how to sing, but you don't know anything other than that. So maybe you should learn to love her, like the way. And maybe you should learn to love her, like the way. And maybe you should learn to love her, like the way. And maybe you should learn to love her, like the way you wanna be loved.
I mean, I don't know where you go from here. I don't know if he's reaching like Queen levels of fame, where he's selling out like $100,000 people stadiums, but no.
So that was my pick for Ed Sheeran, and that kind of concludes our talk on what we consider to be the quintessential songwriter. And so the first two episodes of this EP are our monthly groupings of episodes are going to be our EPs.
Right, that's what we are coining the term.
Our first year will be our first album, so we have a lot of great content for y'all coming up, and I am personally so excited to be sharing it.
It's getting there, like the hype level, and as we go along and as we get more used to just talking with each other and talking to y'all, it's gonna be a good time.
But that we spent our first half of this month talking about artists who have impacted major songwriters, some simple one-man acts who, have really made a huge impact in the music scene.
Shaped music as a whole.
Yes, especially what people are listening to nowadays. And so now we're going to move. The next part of the month is about some of the emerging people who kind of came up out of places like this.
Right, exactly. They saw what John Mayer and Ed Sheeran were doing, and they took advantage.
Prodigies.
And while still being different, because the next two people I would say the last person in this EP is possibly similar to John Mayer, but at the same time is so much different.
So much different. And everyone's influence is different, but they come out of this one vein, which is the powerhouse songwriter. Exactly. And so, for next week, we will be talking about the one and only Charlie Puth.
I know Drew's really excited about Charlie Puth.
I'm a little excited about Charlie Puth.
Drew is extremely...
I can talk about Puth.
Drew can talk about Puth for, all the time. And so, oh, man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time talking about Puth. Just hoping y'all enjoy this just as much as we are.
But thank you for listening this week.
Seriously. It's so much fun. I almost died this past week, so...
Ethan worked so hard to get here. You have no idea.
I really was like, we got to record. I was like, we got to get this out for the people.
I thought he was going to die.
I thought I was too. But here we are recording this episode.
So, thank you for listening, and then next week we'll be back with more tunes, more coffee to sip,
and more baristas picks.
And more reasons to love what you love when you turn on the radio.
Oh, of course. If you have any feedback for us, seriously, send it our way.
Please
do not hesitate. You can find us on Instagram. We'll probably link those down in the bio. You can email us. We have an email address for Melodies and Macchiatos.
Yeah, hit us up.
Yeah, we'll put that down in the bio. Seriously, let us know what you want. Let us know what you like about it, and we'll see y'all next week.